So very good afternoon, students. So we are discussing Unit 2 in disaster management, that is approaches to disaster risk reduction. What and all way to reduce the risk involved in disaster. And today's class, let us discuss about structural and non-structural measures. So there are some measures which we call it as structural, and there are measures which are called under non-structural. Okay. So then we will see the roles and responsibility of community. Community, what we call here is like fisherman group, who will get affected by, since they are closer to sea, and flood lying areas, they you call it as a separate community. And if you are in hills, you form a separate community because landslides, all that thing is going to occur. So based upon that only we clarify as community responsibility. Then we all know panchayat is there in case of rural. So what is their role? Then institution bar urban local bodies. Local bodies, I think you all know, like councillors. What is their role? Then state and center, central government as well as state government, and other stakeholders. Stakeholders are nothing but who are involved in this are the employers. Then finally we will see about institutional framework for disaster management in India. So in India we have formed a framework. So with this I think only few more topics is left out that we will discuss tomorrow. So let us start with the structural. So structural measures are any physical construction. So if disaster is occurred, so you have concluded that this site is prone for a particular disaster, then what and all construction wise what you are going to do will come under structural measures. Okay, to reduce or avoid. In some case we can avoid, and some case we can only reduce the possible of impact of hazards. Okay, so all things we cannot avoid, we can reduce. Okay, the application of engineering techniques, what and all we have studied, that should be applied so that you can do some measures. Okay, the technology to achieve hazard resistance and resilience in structure or a system. A common structural measures for disaster risk reduction includes building up of dams. Okay, we even say, see, I quote Indian example because we know, see, we are fighting with Kerala that they are not opening the dams at the required time, and they open the dams when we doesn't require. The reason is their water collection depends upon the monsoon rain. So till that time they will not open. Once monsoon rain is very heavy, then they will open because to protect the dam. But unfortunately, see, we have not built any dam in our state, so that when they open we cannot store. So that is what we mean to say here. So you are affected when they Kerala open the dam, so that is also comes under a disaster. So now what we say, you try to build a dam such that if the excess water flows from Kerala is being stored, and such that that will not disturb our condition. Okay, this has to be put into mind of young minds. So you are the future, so you have to do. Then flood leaves, which is nothing but how to divert the water and try to protect. Then ocean wave barriers. Then earthquake resistant construction. See that earthquake all these things are not required in all the places, only places where that is possibility is more. So that is why we say community. So the particular community of people will get damage due to overflow of water from Kerala. See, overflow of water from Kerala will not affect the entire Tamil Nadu, because very closer place near to the dam only get affected. So we call them as a community. Similarly, flood leaves, some low-lying areas, they know that they are living in low-lying areas, so they can take some measures by flood leaves. Then ocean wave barriers, ocean waves will increase, even like tsunamis can occur. So community near to the oceans or the people near to ocean, we call them as a group of community. Then earthquake will not occur in all places. There are some high risk places where repeatedly earthquake will occur. So there we have a method for construction. And the evacuation settlers. Evacuation settlers is when flood is going to occur, a particular fisherman group, we all know that they are closer to the sea, there is more chance for flood for them. So if the flood is coming, where to move? You have to build a structure readily available so that they will move from there to the evacuation settlers. So these all comes under structural measures in disaster management. Okay, so let us see first one, flood leaves. See, you can see here, this area is low lying area. So compared here, you are going to store water, and this is low lying area. So if you arrange like this arrangement, so that the water will not come to the sea. In previous history, we might have get water for 3 to 4 inch or even 1 meter height, so that this water has crossed and come over here. So at least now you can build a 1 meter height, so that again if the same amount water comes, it doesn't flow this side. Okay, that we called as foot leaves. Okay, then this is type of a floating, like a bench, floating bench. What happens is, if the tide increases, this bench also will increase, so that this area where you have more waves, and when you compare this side will be less. Usually this is built near any harbor. See, harbor, you might have parked your ship. So when the ship is parked, if any high tide is coming, then there is chance for the ship to be turned upside down. So that what we will do, we will build like the structure like this, so that this side you will have less waves, so that you can avoid any damages. Okay, and the third one is, you can see here, ocean wave barriers. So these are the concrete blocks which are put on the coastal area, so that will avoid the water entering here, because these fellows will divert. So when they divert, water rising will be reduced. All these things you can see it in Ennur, in our Tamil Nadu. When you want to see, when you move on to North Chennai side, you can see it here. This is same on the bottom also. So this we call it as tetrapod structure. So this is only been thrown here. Okay, so this structure has the ability to divert the water. See, it has a structure like, when water comes and hit this particular type of structure, what happens is, water gets deviated, and there is risk for high tide on a particular area is reduced. Okay, so we will see what is tetrapod. So tetrapod structure, see here they have built sea walls. So sea walls is, you again these types you can even see in Pondicherry beach and all. So where Pondicherry beach, you don't have mud more as compared to Marina beach or Besanagar beach. So what they have done is, they have built a sea walls. So even if high tide is coming, this will try to slow down. So here also you can see they have put in some tetrapod here. Okay, and the way they build is, they go into the sea and try to put 2 or 3 layers. So one layer, then little bit water, again one layer. So they will try to reduce the speed. Okay, are a type of a structure in coastal engineering used to prevent erosion caused by weather and long store drift, primary to enforce coastal structures such as seawalls and breakwaters. Tetrapod are made of concrete and used as a tetrahedral shape to dissipate the force of incoming water by allowing water to flow around rather than against them, and to reduce displacement by interlocking. That is nothing but the force which is carried by tide is reduced. Okay, so since if you are not putting any obstacle, then it will have a very huge force, and the huge force will come and hit the surface. So then the damages will be more. To avoid such damages, they have done like this. Okay, so that is called as this tetrapod structure. Then comes your earthquake resistant construction. So nowadays what we have done is, we have identified a places where frequent earthquake. So as you can see here, from the basement, what they have done is, they have put on rubber shock observers to observe the earth tremors, so that if there is any shake, these rubber will try to observe. Okay, usually why the building gets collapsed is, due to earthquake, the foundation will move. Okay, all the columns will move, but the ceiling will not move. So this ceiling will be straight, whereas other thing will try to bend, and the entire weight of the ceiling may cause the building to collapse. Okay, so now what they have done is they have put an heavy block on the ceiling itself, and this heavy block will move depending upon the direction of bending. So if it is bending in left side, that block will move right, so that it will try to maintain and it will not collapse. Okay, so first of all, the foundation sunk into bedrock avoiding clay. So what they have done is, please here, usually on our building sites and all, what we will do, we will put a wall, we will put a concrete and build, but this block will be surrounded by sand. But in a earthquake area, what they try to do is they try to build the wall itself and no sand is being filled here. Okay, so in this case they are free to shake. If there is sand, then they are not free to shake. So its arrangement is made like that. Okay, then fire resistant building material, so they should not easily catch fire, like that they will try to do. Then rods are provided in quick access for emergency services. Then outer panel flexibility attached to steel structure, so that they try to bend and they will not break. Brick gauge interlocking steel frames. Then computer controlled weights on the roof of the building to reduce movement. So if the building try to bend on right, this weight will try to move on left and try to adjust, so that will not collide. Okay, then automatic window shutter to prevent falling glass. Open area where people can assemble if evacuated. So if they are brought down, then there should be such that even if falls, that should not fall on their head. Okay, so like this buildings can be constructed. Similar way, you can see here there is a cross bracing reinforced wall using two steel beams. You can see here this two beams, so they call it as cross bracing. So that will try to make this two fellow, so that he will not separately move. Okay, so that, and this type of attachment is done. And shear wall is nothing but a concrete wall with a steel bars in them. So inside the concrete wall itself, they will try to put steel. Okay, we will put it on lintel, ground level we will put, then we will put it on lintel, then we will put on ceiling. But what they say is entire wall inside with the brick they have proven with the steel, so that that will try to prevent the movement, so that if the entire building moves, there is no problem. Only if any column try to move away, then it will break and everything will collide. So even if the entire building is moving and coming back to the original case, then the earthquake, there won't be any damage or any breakdown in building structure. Okay, shock absorbers are provided at the bottom. Shock absorbers is nothing but similar what we have seen here, rubber shocks absorbers. So that will try to absorb, and so that it will not move. Only thing you have to remove, they are not filled with mud. You can see here also in this picture also. So underneath they have done, and they have not filled with the wall, mud, because then only it will be able to bend and come back to the original stage. So this is construction with respect to earthquake. Okay, then let us move on to non-structural measures. So structural measures we have seen. Now non-structural measures are measure not involving physical construction, which use knowledge and practice or an agreement to reduce disaster risk and impact, in particular through policies. So various policies and laws and public awareness raising, training and education. So policies, I know you all know, you should not build in lake pond areas. That is the policy. So they will have a document for each and every collector will have its own area document indicating where and all you have lakes, where and all you have ponds, and where is marshland where you are not supposed to build. Okay, but if unfortunately it happens, but that should be avoided. Okay, and there are some laws says that even if you build, government has a rights to demolish at any time. Then public awareness, you should bring the residents and show them how to escape. Even sometimes in institution they do. What happens under, if fire comes, how you have to escape, how you have to put off the fire, and if the earthquake comes, how you have to escape, what is the place where you see. Usually if any earthquakes or any other is happening, I think you might have all went to some malls like Phoenix Mall or Grand Mall or any other place where steps will be constructed and you are supposed to use step during disaster. So during disaster time you are not supposed to use lift, because all that will get collapsed and you will get locked in. So that what you have to do, you have to use steps. And these steps, once if you have entered that step at any floor, then you cannot come to any other floor again. You can only go down. All that doors to the steps will only open on one direction, and reverse direction it will not allow. Okay, so if you start from, say in foreign countries, even if you start from 10th floor or 20th floor under disaster, you have to climb all the 30 floors only through steps. Okay, you climbing for coming down for 10 floors, and again you cannot get in into some 5th floor or 4th floor inside. Once you have stepped in to a place where steps is there, go till all the floors you have to go by steps. Like this we will educate them and train them how to go for in prepared for facing any disasters. Okay, common non-structural measures includes building codes. So building codes is nothing but written instruction how to build your buildings. Then land use planning laws. Land use planning law is, this land is suitable for what, which has been planned and it has been executed. And even now you know for past 3 years agriculture land you are not supposed to put plots. Okay, all that has been written and they follow as per the direction. And the enforcement we have all know, you might have encroached some places and the government will do enforcement and they will try to get it back. Okay, see, if you have any airport nearby, then you are not supposed to build more than 2 floors, and if it is Air Force area you are not supposed to build more than 1 floors and all this is written rules. Okay, all this comes under non-structural measures. Research and assessment, why they say in Air Force area you are not supposed to build 2 floors, because under some condition disaster occur at the airport of Chennai. Okay, so then what they will do, they will go for only landing in Air Force area. So at that time I cannot go and say they are high-rise building near me, so that I cannot make the landing. So that situation should not occur. That is why they have written all details in land use planning laws. Okay, and then finally information resources and public awareness program, all this comes under non-structural measures. Building code is a set of rules that specify the standards of construction objects such as building and non-building structures. Building must conform to be code to obtain plan permission. So you have to draw the plan and you have to submit it, and the drawing of the plan should be under the building code rules. So then only they will give approval for you to build. The main purpose of building code is to protect public health, safety and general awareness. See, if you build more than 6 or 7 floors, then wherever you see there should be some there should be some display showing where and all you have exits, where and all you have fire extinguishers. All that should be displayed so that when situation occurs public should know. So that is why they call it as general awareness, general welfare, as they relate to the construction and accompany of building and structures. The building code become law of a particular jurisdiction when formally enacted by appropriate governmental or private authorities. Then land use planning is the process of regulating the use of land in an effort to promote more desirable social and environmental outcomes, as well as more effective use of resources. If you have a resources, that should be effectively used. See, if the land is best for agriculture and if you are putting plot only sake that you will get earn money, that is not advised, because all the land you cannot do agriculture and all land you cannot build. Okay, there is some differences in soil, so that the soil which is very rich for fertilizers, very rich for agriculture should not be used for building. Okay, so that is being specified by this land use planning. So goals of the land use planning may include environmental conservation. See, there is some case where you are not supposed to dig more, because that may leads to corrosion, erosion, So all such things you have to do. Resident of urban, then minimization of transport cost, prevention of land use conflicts, and reduction in exposure to populants. So these are specified by land use planning. By and large, the use of land determines the diverse socio-economic activities that occur in specific area. The pattern of human behavior, their produce and their impact on environment is being explained in land use planning. Roles and responsibilities. So first let us start with what are the various person involved and what are their roles. In that, first comes under is community. See, you cannot see if you know your area is prone and your area is prone for some disaster, and at all the times you cannot sit and wait for the government to come and help. So you should have some knowledge, you itself should have some roles and responsibility. That roles and responsibility you have to follow. So that is what the role and responsibility of the community. See, for a particular community which is prone for a particular type of disaster, then they have should some responsibility. So in case of any disaster or emergency before any government missionaries or support reach or the outside help get galvanized, it is the community which has to respond immediately at the hour when disaster is occurring. As the community plays the role of first responder, it is critical that there is adequate awareness and preparedness at the community level, especially among the most valuable set of community. See, I doesn't go and get training a person in Tambaram about flood. Okay, sorry, with respect to high tide, tsunami and all, there is no need for the person who is staying in Tambaram to be trained, but the training should be given to a person who is closer, like Besant Nagar or Tiruvanmiyur or North Chennai, like Ennur and all. And that group of people should be given preparedness and awareness. Okay, so then only they will respond. So that depends upon the community. On the whole, there is no need that entire Tamil Nadu people should be trained. There is no need. So that is what they say. As the community plays the role of first responder, it is critical that there is adequate awareness is required and preparedness at the community level, especially among the most valuable set. See, everybody should know, but not to that level. But the person who is more prone should have more knowledge of communities residing at most place where disaster will occur. Okay, so community connections are the relationship necessary to develop, implement and maintain an effective end-to-end early warning system. So in a community you should have a group where the work is to warn them. So multi-hazard warning centers can only be successful if warning is produced each individual at risk and are easy to understand, resulting in appropriate response. So like that place where the disaster prone is more, you should have like warning centers. To assure warning are most effective, the staff at the center must be established trusted partnership among the international organization and governmental agencies, community leaders and organizations, businessmen and local citizens prior to issuing any warning. So all such things should be taken into consideration. Community preparedness can be thought of as an advanced capacity of a community to respond to the consequences of an adverse event by having plans in place so that people know what to do and where to go if warning is issued or hazard is observed. Okay, so all that should be planned. This result can be achieved through development of program in which communities establish plan, enhance communication and heighten awareness among the citizens. So you have to get grouped and you have to do all this program, development programs you have to do. Repeatedly you have to call the people and you have to inform them, and such thing activity should be happening frequently. Then key components of a community preparedness program include, First one is raising public awareness. Okay, so awareness program should be there. See, if the flood is coming, how to escape, what and all you should not do, and affecting behavior change in the area of mitigation and preparedness. So not only just listening, they should also respond. So you have to put a test for them, so that you have to check whether the behavior itself is changed, so that they will do it when that disaster is occurring. Development of stable, reliable and effective warning system. See, the system which you use for warning should work properly, or it should be a very stable one. Even if that get affected first and it unable to warn you, then unfortunately that is waste. Then development of effective messaging for inducing favorable community response to mitigation, preparedness and warning communication. So these are the key components of community preparedness program. Then comes the role of responsibility of community, like community empowerment. Empowerment is bringing them to certain level so that they are self sustainable. Okay, that is called as community empowerment. Then community based disaster management, that is CBDM approach, provides an opportunity for the local community to evaluate their own situation based on their own experience initially. Under this approach, local community not only become a part of creating plan and decision, but also become major player in the implementation part of view. Then integration gender issues in community based disaster. You should know among your community what about the various genders. I think we have discussed like female, pregnant and disabled. All that should be taken into account, so that you should provide this possibility for them also to escape. Okay, so the entire count of that community should be known. That is what they say, integrating. See, just you should not declare in a general terms. See, all persons are not same and all persons cannot escape same way. So integration of gender issues should be there on your community level. Then comes your role of panchayat. The role of panchayat is nothing but you have elected them. So the community team is being split up into early warning, forecasting and transport. That is first group. So first group come under panchayat is early warning, forecasting and transport. Early warning is, if this occurring, you have to be informing them in before. So what this group will do before disaster, during disaster and after disaster, their role. The role of early warning, forecasting and transport. First they should listen the news before disaster. When during disaster, warn the villages how to do, what to do and why you should not do that. After disaster, link the block and district. So this particular group of people have to be linked with the other group, so that they can get all their needs. Okay, so that is what comes under transport. You have to bring all food materials, grains from other district to the district where get affected. So that is what we say here. So this early warning and forecasting and transport plays a role, like they have to listen news and they have to transfer, they have to inform the villages, then send information to other departments. So this forecasting is, the role of forecasting is you have to inform what is happening to other departments also. Then only they can come and help you. Then link with the block and districts. That what I have told. After disaster has occurred, you have to link with others. Okay. Then infrastructure, settlers and food management. This is the second committee. So they have to maintain record of available food grains. If it is not sufficient, then they have to make it arranged. Identify the settlers where you can go and ask them to get settled. Okay. So this too they have to do all the times. That is, all the time this too should be done by this group of people before disaster. During disaster, we all know you have already identified the place where to settle. So now you have to arrange it for them to go on there. Then make arrangement for available, so that they have to withstand the disaster. That is what they mean to say. Then after disaster, collect relief materials. See, once disaster has occurred, what you will do, what and all material you have, you will supply them. So after disaster, what you have to do, again you have to start collecting the materials, make necessary repairment. If there is any repairment in the place where the food is stored, then you have to do all the such repairments. Then comes your third one, sanitation, health and first aid. This is the third group. So make necessary arrangement for pregnant women, children's old. So this is what we have told. When you say health, then all these things should be taken into. We have to make necessary arrangement for women's, children's, then old and disabled person. Arrange health camp. So all this is what they have to do before disaster. So regularly they have to do this. This column itself, the first column, whatever you write under before disaster, should be always taken into care. And then by this group, under during disaster is take immediate step for the injured people, then get ready for distribution of food and drinking water. So this they have to do. And then is there any issue related with respect to screen? Can you now see me? Students, can you now see the screen? Kindly reply. Can you now can you now view the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So the third group under the Panchayat is sanitation, health and first aid group. So there are totally 4 groups are there. So this comes under third group. So I have told that what is their role. So last one is search, rescue and evacuation. This is employed from the government. From government they are employed group of people. So they only know how to rescue and evacuate. This process all cannot do. So repair damaged portion, organize awareness camp for the villages. I think 1 or 2 times even firefighting people might come to our college and they have shown how to escape if there is any fire. So these group of people, their role is to organize awareness camp for the villages, then give training. So they have already been trained. So during disaster what they will do is rescue the individual people, then searching the missing people, all that. Then after disaster what they have to do is help villagers to go back to their home, maintain proper communication facilities, then contact with other members. All these things arrangement has to be done by this. So role of Panchayat is been divided into four groups. So if the question has been asked what is the role and responsibility of Panchayat, then you have to say there are 4 community or teams under Panchayat, and these 4 teams as the work of before, during and after. You are not supposed to put a tabular column like this. You have to write it in paragraph and you can conclude with a tabular column. Then comes the role and responsibility of the institution bar urban local bodies. So under local bodies there are so many subdivisions. First subdivision is development function. This is a separate group. So what is the role of this group is construction of roads and streets, then development of parks and playgrounds, slum improvement, planning for socio-economic development, construction of primary school for education. So all this has to be done by this development function group. Okay, so second group we call it as public health department. So this also in under urban or local body you have a separate group which is called as public health. So when public health, first one is for health, you need good water supply. So water and sewage is combined to form a same department. So you have to supply water as well as sewage drainage should be proper. Conservation and sanitation, eradication of communication disease, prevention of food adulteration, and ensuring hygienic place to live. So okay, all this is the work of this particular group under your urban local bodies. And the third one is welfare functions, then provision for community facilities such as primary education, park, garden, swimming pool, market. So this depends upon the area. If it is slightly richer area, then they will go for swimming pool and all. And depending upon the area, this welfare itself, for betterment of life. Okay. Then comes the last one is public safety, which is firefighting, demolition of disabilities in house. So all this comes under the last category of role and responsibility of urban local bodies. And the last one is regulatory function. Regulatory function is prescribing and enforcing building by law. So regulatory function, you have to get sign. See, when you build an house, you have to get sign from all these groups. Okay, starting from your development function, public health, welfare function, public safety and regularity function. All this person has to sign. Then only you can proceed. Okay. So this is with respect to roles and responsibility of institution by urban local bodies. Then stakeholders. Who are all called as stakeholders is, the first stakeholder is community. The group of people are the first stakeholders. Then comes media. Media has to play a major role. So only if this been projected, what is happening, then the rest of the world will come to know, and then only you can make the step for prevention. Okay. To help or whatever you say, media plays a major role. Then comes your NGOs, then private sectors, then educational institutions, then international agencies. For everything we can lend money from international like World Bank. So they are also one of the stakeholders of disaster management. So these can also be asked in 2 mark. $1 are called as stakeholders in disaster management. Then you have to start from community, because that is the person who is going to get affected, and that is the person who is going to face the disaster. So okay, so you have to start from community. Then what is happening has to be exposed to the rest of the part. So media plays the role. Then there are some NGOs, non-government organization, who is going to fund, okay, for the betterment of the people. Then your private sectors, then educational institutions, then comes your international agencies for funding. Then the role of media. What is the role of the media in disaster management? First of all, prevention is, they have to do awareness program repeatedly, initiate officials to adopt disaster risk reduction strategies. Then during preparedness, they have to inform and educate, empower and encourage community. All the things the media has to do. Then during the response, if the disaster occurs, the response, gathering and transmitting information about the disaster affected area, this media has to do. See, media is not a easy task. The first person who will get even disturbed due to disaster is media people, but their role is to make this. So they have to go to the response area, gather and transmit information about the disaster affected areas. Then recovery counseling program should be arranged by media people. Then you have to make arrangement for livelihood restoration. Okay, all the role of media in disaster management. Then comes your, in India what we have done, okay, National Disaster Management Authority, we call it as NDMA. So all over the entire India, this is centralized. So the Disaster Management Act 2005 provides a setting up of National Disaster Management Authority with the Prime Minister as a chairperson. Okay, so chairperson for National Disaster Management Authority is Prime Minister. Apart from him, there are members whose number shall not exceed 9. So maximum you can have 9 members. One of these can be nominated as a vice chairman of the authority. Presently, M. Sasidhar Reddy, a sitting member of Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly, is the vice chairman of the authority. Okay, then comes NDMA is responsible for laying down the policies, plans and guidelines for disaster management, for ensuring timely and effective response of the disaster. See, these are the government opportunities. Government, they have an organization, you can employed, they write the written test for this and you can get selected. Okay, so the role of, what is the role of NDMA? The role, it can be asked in 2 mark. Explain the role of NDMA. Then you have to they have to lay down the policies, plans and guidelines for disaster management for ensuring timely and effective response to the disaster. So this is the arrangement structure. First comes the chairman, then vice chairman, then you can have members. So they have told not more than 9, but now presently in India we have 4 members. Under them you have advisory policy and plan, advisory operation, advisory mitigation, joint secretary administration, financial advisor, project director for NCRMP. Okay, so the role of advisor, policy and plan, you have joint advisor and assistant advisor. Then comes joint advisor for planning and assistant. Similarly, there are so many designations where the peoples are appointed just to take care of disaster management national wise. Then comes your state disaster management authority, which we call it as SDMA. The Disaster Management Act on 2005 also provided for setting up stage disaster management, because all over India then directly coming into picture is not possible. So state wise they have divided. So again the chairperson will be chief minister. State authority is being assisted by the state executive committee under the chairperson of chief secretary of the state. The committee shall prepare a state plan, where previously we have seen it will plan for country, now we have to plan for the state, which could include assessment of viability. So where and all there is a possible for disaster has to be prepared of different parts of the state to different forms of disaster, measure to be adopted for prevention and mitigation of disaster, capacity of building and role of the Department of State Government. Apart from planning aspect, it is also involved in taking up and supervising the relief and rescue operation at the time of disaster and disseminating information about independent disaster. Then comes your district level. So I think you are able to understand. So it is totally divided into 3. First one is national level, then state level, then district level. The structure of disaster management institution goes down to the district level, where the responsibility is given to DDMA, which is headed by the collector bar district mitigation, with the elected representative of local authority as co-chairman. DDMA will act as a planning. So DDMA will be there with all collectors. Okay, so all collectors will have a particular group, and that group entirely we call it as DDMA, district disaster. If time permit, I have inquired, so I have even arranged for a guest lecture. The person who is I am going to arrange is a PA to a collector who have worked under disaster management for around 30 years, and even he has published a book. So if we arrange a class, then it will be more useful for us. Okay, that we will try to do. Okay, and next is National Institute of Disaster Management. So institution we were calling till now. So there is a separate branch of studies, so you can join in this institution and you can study about disaster management. This is institution, National Institute of Disaster Management. The capacity building is an important aspect of disaster management. This reduce developing human resources to handle disaster management work. So all this thing related you will study. This institute was formed as a national center for disaster management in 1995, but was redesigned as National Institute of, first it was started in the name of National Center for Disaster Management, then they have changed it as National Institute of Disaster Management in 2005 after engaging the Disaster Management Act. The institution is headed by Union Home Minister and Vice Chairman. NDMA is also act as a Vice President of the institution. Okay. Then National Disaster Response Force. This is similar to police. There is a group of people. For this also there is a written test. You can write the written test and you can get into this job also. Initially it was started with the 8 battalion in army we call it as a group. So it may be like a state. In a state you will have a 1 battalion. So it was started in 2006 with 8 battalion, and even Tamil Nadu you have a separate battalion for this, and now it has increased to 12 battalions for 12 different states is been selected. So in the 12 states you will have this group of people. So any disaster is there, these people will come and help. They have been given training, how to get into water, how to get into fire, all the things training is been given. General Superintendent of the Force West is NDMA, and the force is headed by the Director General of NDRF and Civil Defense. These battalions are posted at different locations to provide timely response to the disaster situation and are available at state government at the time of need. Okay, remaining time they don't have work, they have just training and all the such things. Only if any situation occurs, these fellows will be brought into force. The force provide specialized response during disaster because they have been given training, so they will work specialized way. So compared to others, their work will be more professional. Okay, impending disaster situation, impact training to the state disaster response force personnel and conduct program for creating awareness and community capacity buildings. Okay, so these people under normal time they will conduct awareness program and all, and they will try to educate. So with this we will try to stop today, so that we will continue on next class. I am just stopping the presentation alone. If you have any doubts,